The supermarket was loud in the way only ordinary places could be. Carts rattling, scanners beeping, children whining for candy, and the dull hum of fluorescent lights washing everything in pale white. But Officer Daniel, Reyes noticed the little girl immediately, because fear has a sound even when it's silent, and hers was screaming. She couldn't have been older than 7, wearing a faded yellow dress and sneakers 2 sizes too big. Her dark hair tied into uneven pigtails like someone had rushed the job, and she walked slightly behind. A tall man with a stiff jaw and impatient hands gripping the cart as if it were an extension of his temper. And what caught Daniel's eye wasn't just the distance she kept from him, but the way her small fingers trembled as she pretended to study a rack of cereal boxes while subtly angling her body toward the aisle mirror, lifting her hand for just a second, curling her thumb across her palm and folding her fingers down slowly. Deliberately, once, twice, the universal distress signal taught quietly in schools and online safety videos. A signal most adults overlooked, but one Daniel had trained himself never to forget. Because years ago he had promised himself he would always see what others missed. The man barked at her to hurry up, his voice sharp enough to make nearby shoppers flinch, and the girl nodded too fast, eyes down. But before she moved, she did it again. The same signal, clearer this time, and when her eyes flicked up and met Daniel's reflection in the mirror for half a heartbeat, something unspoken passed between them, a fragile thread of hope stretching across the aisle, and Daniel's hand instinctively moved toward his radio, though he forced himself to slow down, because rushing could get her hurt. And he had learned the hard way that predators relied on panic, not just fear. He pushed his cart forward casually, pretending to compare prices, keeping the man and the girl in his peripheral vision as they moved toward the freezer section, the cold air fogging the glass doors, and as they stopped, the man leaned down and hissed, something that made the girl's shoulders curl inward like a leaf, closing against frost. And that was when Daniel saw it. The bruise, faint but unmistakable, peeking out from the sleeve of her dress as she reached for a box of frozen waffles, and anger surged hot in his chest, but he swallowed it. Because this moment wasn't about him. It was about her getting out alive. He adjusted his body camera discreetly, murmured a coded update into his radio about a possible child in danger situation, and began following at a distance that looked accidental, the way shoppers always drifted in the same direction, aisle after aisle, while the girl found moments to send him tiny signals, dropping a spoon near his feet, brushing past him just long enough to whisper, "Help me," so softly it might have been imagination if he hadn't been, listening with every nerve in his body. And each time her courage cut deeper into him, because no child should have to be this brave. The man grew more agitated, snapping at employees, sweating despite the cold aisles, and when he noticed Daniel lingering nearby one too many times, his eyes narrowed, suspicion flashing like a warning light. And Daniel knew the balance was tipping, so he made a choice, stepping closer, lowering his voice and addressing the girl directly with practiced calm, asking her if she knew where her mom was because she looked lost. And the man exploded, grabbing the girl's wrist hard enough to make her gasp, shouting that she was his daughter and to mind your own business. And that was the moment the mask cracked. Because the girl screamed then, a raw, piercing sound that cut through the supermarket noise like glass shattering. And Daniel moved instantly, placing himself between them, his badge visible, his voice firm but controlled as he ordered the man to release her, shoppers backing away, phones coming out, managers calling security, and the girl ran behind Daniel, clutching his belt with both hands as if it were the only solid thing left in her world. The man tried to flee, knocking over a display of canned soup, but security and another off-duty officer tackled him near the exit, and as he was handcuffed, the girl collapsed onto the floor, shaking, sobbing into Daniel's jacket while he knelt beside her, speaking softly, telling her she was safe now, that she did everything right. And as paramedics arrived and the store slowly returned to a stunned hush, Daniel realized something that would stay with him forever, that the smallest signals can save lives if someone is willing to notice them. And as he looked down at the girl, who finally managed a tiny, exhausted smile through her tears, he silently hoped that stories like this would reach others, that parents, kids, and ordinary people would learn these signs. Because awareness is protection. And if you're listening to this story right now, remember this moment, share it. Subscribe to the channel, because every story told is another set of eyes opened, another life that might be saved. And what Daniel didn't yet know was that this rescue was only the beginning. because the truth behind why the little girl knew that signal, and what she had endured before walking into that supermarket, would shake him in ways he never expected, changing both of their lives forever.